так нелегитимные действия по заморозке части валютных резервов Банка России подводят черту под надежностью так называемых первоклассных активов. И видя это, многие страны уже в ближайшее время могут начать, уверен, так и будет происходить, конвертировать свои бумажные и цифровые накопления в настоящие резервы в виде сырьевых товаров, земли, продовольствия, золота, других реальных активов.
Hey guys, Rafa here from the Endgame Investor, and today we're going to discuss whether Vladimir Putin has what it takes to put the ruble back on a gold standard.
Will he succumb to the maddening urge to eradicate history at the mere push of a single button?
Why is Russia insisting on payments in rubles for countries that are unfriendly to his regime? And why nobody in the West or the Western financial system has any idea what is going on because they look at everything ass backwards.
Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was so big?
This news came out on March 28th, March 25th, a little bit before. Reported here on Kitco on March 28th, it says, Russia sets fixed gold price as it restarts official bullion purchases. Russia's central bank has resumed its gold purchases from local banks on Monday, but it set a fixed price on the precious metal. Starting this week, the Russian central bank will pay a fixed price of 5,000 rubles, about $52 per gram, between March 28th and June 30th, the bank said on Friday. This is below the current market value of around $68. You could ask, and rightly, how does that make any damn sense? Why would the Bank of Russia offering gold at a heavy discount to the international price have anything to do with a gold standard? And why would any bank, any Russian member bank of the Bank of Russia, buy gold at a heavy discount when it could just sell it internationally for much higher? The answer is it can't sell gold internationally. And the Bank of Russia is actually offering its member banks a very nice premium for any gold they have to be put into the Bank of Russia as part of its reserves. Here's what I mean. Here is a graph of the price differential between Brent crude and Urals crude. Brent crude is British, Urals crude is Russian crude. They're basically the same thing. Sure, there are slight differences, which is why there's always a price differential between them, but they're basically the same commodity. Now, if you look at this huge drop, that means the price differential between Brent and Urals is now about $31, meaning you can get Russian crude at a $31 discount to British crude or Brent crude or even USO or West Texas Intermediate, whatever they call it. Why? Because Russia is sanctioned and its markets are cut off. So any oil that gets through at a heavy discount. Now, the same thing is true of gold. Here we have an article from Bloomberg, March 7th. Russian gold is hit with de facto ban from key London market. LBMA suspends all Russian refineries from good delivery list. Body joins list of institutions pulling back from Russia. What is the effect on the price of a good from a certain place when that good is banned from international markets? The price of that good in that place goes way down, meaning Russian gold is available at a heavy discount because it's harder to get out of the country because of sanctions. And if you get caught buying it, you can get sanctioned. So there's heavy risk that has to be compensated for. Therefore, Russian gold is much cheaper than international gold anywhere else in the world. So a 5,000 ruble per gram fixed price is splitting the difference for the Bank of Russia. It is giving a good deal for the Russian banks and a good deal for the Bank of Russia, which gets to back its ruble at a heavy discount while giving profits to its member banks. Now, why doesn't the West understand this? Because it doesn't understand that gold is money and dollars and euros and pounds are all gold substitutes and therefore money substitutes. They think that gold has to be moved out of a country in order for it to be used to buy things, but that's not true. Take this article, for instance, from the Wall Street Journal. What sanctions mean for Russia's $140 billion in gold? You see, even immediately from that title, you see that the West and its financial outlets, financial news outlets, are counting gold in terms of dollars instead of counting dollars in terms of gold. $140 billion in gold, it could be worth a lot, much more than $140 billion as the dollar falls and gold stays stable. Subtitle: Sanctions could mean make it more difficult, but not impossible, for Russia to sell some precious metal to raise money while invasion of Ukraine continues. That subtitle makes it even worse, because gold is money. You don't have to raise money when you have money.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
You don't have to sell the gold itself. You can do something else. You see, a long time ago, banks invented this thing called paper. It was a receipt for gold. So instead of having to move gold, you could just move paper. Here's an example. This is a 200 shekel bill with some grumpy looking guy on it. It's paper. It's like the new blockchain. What you can do is move the paper instead of moving the gold. So what you could do is say that rubles are now exchangeable for gold at a certain price, and then just buy things with rubles. There comes a point when 5,000 rubles per gram of gold becomes a bargain even for international markets. That is when the ruble strengthens on the fact that gold is being shuttled from Russian banks to the Russian central bank, which is in charge of the ruble as its liability. That strengthens the ruble as the Bank of Russia accumulates more gold to back its money supply. How do you back a currency with gold? Step one is you accumulate gold. That the Bank of Russia has done by offering 5,000 rubles per gram of gold, and it's been doing this since 2004, acquiring gold in the international markets. Step two is you strengthen your currency versus other currencies. How do you do that? By insisting on payment for commodities in your currency. This is what Russia has insisted on doing in the last few days to unfriendly countries, meaning countries that are sanctioning it, insisting on payments in rubles, and that increases the demand for rubles because these countries need Russian commodities, therefore they need rubles, therefore they will buy rubles on the foreign exchanges, bringing the price of rubles up versus other currencies. Putin wants unfriendly countries to pay for Russian gas in rubles. Russia will seek payment in rubles for gas sold to unfriendly countries, President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday, and European gas prices soared on concerns the move would exacerbate the energy crunch. European nations and the United States have imposed heavy sanctions on Russia since Moscow sent troops into Ukraine on February 24th. Skip that one. Putin's message was clear: if you want our gas, buy our currency. It remained unclear whether Russia has the power to unilaterally change existing contracts agreed upon in euros. Whether he has the power or not legally is beside the point. This is what he's doing. And look at what the ruble has done since then. Here you have Russia invades Ukraine, February 24th, and the ruble collapses over the weekend to about 115 rubles per dollar. It keeps collapsing until March 7th, which was the nickel squeeze. And then you have here, the Bank of Russia offers 5,000 rubles per ounce of gold and starts accumulating gold again. And around the same time, you have Russia insisting on payments in rubles for exports of gas. And look at where the ruble is now. This next table is crucial. Here you have the ruble to USD gold price per ounce at 5,000 rubles per gram. 5,000 rubles per gram. This is at different exchange rates to the dollar. What is the gold price in dollars per ounce at different ruble US dollar exchange rates? You have at 100, the gold price is 15.55. So that is a discount. You wouldn't sell gold to Russia, the Bank of Russia, at that price. You get a better price on the international market in London. But move down to 95, you get 1637. Move down to 90, you get 1728. Move down to 85, you get 1829. 80, we're about at parity, 1943. Anything below 80, then what is happening is that the Bank of Russia is offering a premium on gold purchases to the international market, which is going to tempt arbitrageurs to take delivery from the gold stocks at LBMA and deliver it into Russia to get that premium. And so Russia does not need to sell its gold. It just needs to buy gold and then back the ruble with that gold. So the ruble becomes a gold substitute, just like any paper money was before 1971. So to review, step one is offer a premium to Russian banks to accumulate gold to back the ruble, and then insist, step two, on ruble payments for energy exports that increases the ruble's value relative to other currencies, which creates a premium for the 5,000 rubles per gram gold price offered by the Bank of Russia, which then, step 3, drains the international gold markets into the Bank of Russia. Finally, you declare the ruble convertible into gold at a fixed price. You have a hard money policy, and you don't have to move the gold. You can just move the paper or even the digits. We have a digital economy now. We have electronic transfer systems. You can just move the ruble, and whoever wants Russian commodities for whatever they need them for will need the rubles to buy them. The West doesn't understand this at all. They don't get what is happening. They are going to be drained of all their money because they don't see that gold is money. They think that it's silly and stupid.
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
Opportunity.
No, money.
Oh, okay.
I smell money.
But then watch what happens when the West is drained of gold and Russia and its allies have the world gold supply. Do you think you'll be able to buy much with $1? No, you won't. Am I telling people to speculate on the ruble? Absolutely not. Forget about the paper substitutes for gold and what people are going to do with their paper, what this head of state is going to do, what that head of state, it doesn't matter. You can just make it simple and just get the money itself, and whatever happens to the paper happens. When could this happen? Well, the Bank of Russia announced that its fixed price will be applicable until June 30th. What happens after that? After that, maybe they expect to have their gold supply that they're going to use to back the ruble and declare it convertible. Maybe something else. But it is clear that we are in the very end stages of the end game here, and the financial war is ramping up, a war that the West doesn't even seem to understand that it is in, because it thinks gold is a stupid doorstop, when in fact, it is actually money.
Money, money, money.
It's a simple concept, but once it clicks, everything falls into place. You can say it 1,000 times and never understand it, but right now, gold is money. This is Rafi of the Endgame Investor. If you enjoyed this video, consider signing up for a 2-week free trial of the Endgame Investor. As this chaos unfolds, you'll want to follow what I have to say on a daily basis. Or you can become my patron on Patreon, where I give a biblical commentary on monetary and economic insights, also on a weekly basis. And always remember, as Homer Simpson said,
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Woohoo!